Hello, friends. It's your girl Anna Loves, and welcome back to Creepy Corner Story Time. So, the story that I'm going to be sharing today has been passed through my family for a lot of years. It's just a quick, short story for the night that I wanted to share that I always enjoyed when my mom would tell it to me. It's about this family that was very poor and they were traveling between towns. They ran into some inclement weather. It started raining really bad and thundering, and it got dark. They were hungry, they were tired, they were trying to see if maybe they could pull over to the side of the road and get some sleep. And when they pulled over, they saw there was a farmhouse in the distance. So they decided, hey, it didn't look like anybody was there. They were going to try to see if they could get in at least and get some shelter for the night. So they made their way to the farmhouse, and the husband was able to open the door and was surprised to see that there were some lights on in the house. So the husband told the wife and the two kids that he was going to go further down to see if he could get some cigarettes, and he left them there. In the meantime, the wife went into the kitchen to see if there was anything to give the kids, gave them a little bit of like bread and peanut butter, whatever they could find that wasn't perishable in the house, and settled them in to sleep. So she was getting ready to lay down as well. The husband still hadn't made it back when she heard somebody call from an upstairs bedroom. It's a two-story house. So it definitely frightened her, but she wanted to go up and see what it was. And she didn't like the fact that her husband wasn't there, so she had to explore by herself. But she went ahead and went up the stairs and started moving from room to room when she came to a door where she could see the light on underneath it. So she opened the door, and there was a casket in the room. So I know in the previous story I had explained how back in the old days they would put people for their wakes in their home. So it was kind of a circumstance like this, but instead of being in like a living area or dining area, they put him upstairs in the bedroom. It was a man wearing a blue suit. So she sees this and she just recoils and backs up, terrified, but she can't go anywhere because her husband's not there and her kids are asleep downstairs. So she closes the door. She starts to make her way back downstairs. And she starts to hear, hey, hello, hello. So she turns around. She's scared, but she figures if there's somebody in the house, maybe they're amicable, since it didn't seem like, they weren't chasing or anything like that. So she went back upstairs and she went back to the door. She opened it up. She sees the casket. She doesn't see anybody in the room, but she can hear them talking. And they're telling her if she can please kneel and pray for the man in the coffin because he didn't have anybody to pray for him. For I think any reasonable person, you hear somebody talking and there's nobody there, you're going to get the hell out of there. This lady, though, she had a very good soul, and she felt really bad for the man because he didn't have anybody to pray for him. So she did what they asked. She got down on her knees and she started praying for him, and she prayed all night until she fell asleep. So the next day, she wakes up, husband still hadn't come back, and she got up to get ready to leave to see what she was going to do with her circumstance or with her kids, when she heard the same voice tell her that if she would go into that room, there was going to be a spot in the wall where she could pull it out, and there was going to be money in there. So the deal was, whoever came into the house and stayed and prayed for the man would get all this money. And so she ended up opening the spot in the wall, finding all the money. The husband never came back, but she ended up being able to start a whole new life with the money that she got out of the wall. So I don't know how extremely scary that is. It's definitely creepy, and supposedly it's a true story that's been passed through my family for years. Who knows if it's true, but I thought it was pretty cool and pretty interesting. If you guys have any stories like this that have been passed down, I would love to hear them. Thank you so much for joining me. Have a good night. Bye.